Good afternoon and welcome to the University of Minnesota Crookston. It's wonderful to see so many of our friends here today as we honor Dr. Fred Wood in celebrating his campus Crookston connections and contributions. Fred is unable to join us here physically today. Upon arriving here into Crookston on Monday, he wasn't feeling very well and he tested and he has the new strain of COVID. so he is going to be joining us. In fact, he's watching this right now on a live feed and is also going to be speaking with us a little bit later on today. So as I said, we Golden Eagles, we're resilient. The show must go on. And so even though Fred's only a half a mile away from us here, I was going to say he's watching us right now. So for those of you that knew Fred and know Fred, his enthusiasm and excitement was evident as he met with students and learned of their interests. He enjoyed serving as chancellor and is evident through his leadership that today's Welcome Center dedication is a testament to his campus leadership. Dr. Wood, as both a chancellor on our campus and throughout his career, worked to provide access and opportunities for students. He's been a champion for higher education here in Minnesota and his native state of California. Fred was a first-generation student who started at Diablo Valley College, earning an Associate's Arts degree and then a Bachelor's of Science and then a PhD from the University of California, Davis in chemistry. His first teaching assignment, well, he gave back to Diablo Valley College, and that's where he had his first teaching assignment. After that, he was a faculty member at North Idaho College. Chancellor Wood joined the University of Minnesota Crookston after a 26-year career at the University of California, Davis, where his last position, he was serving as Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs from 2007 until 2012, leading one of the largest student affairs portfolios in the nation. Wood's experience at UC Davis included other leadership positions such as an interim vice provost for undergraduate studies and associate dean for the College of Letters and Sciences, while concurrently serving as a faculty member in chemistry. Dr. Wood has solid roots in Minnesota. His mother was born in Crookston, and several of his children attended universities in Minnesota. This quote from Fred illustrates his love for the region. Crookston is an incredible community, and I've been blessed to have been part of it. I can now understand why my mother always had such a sparkle and twinkle in her eye when she spoke of her youth in northwestern Minnesota. Wood's accomplishments here at the University of Minnesota Crookston are many. He was involved in several building projects which changed the face of this university. Fred oversaw the construction and opening of the Wellness Center right over there, and he received $1 million gift from the 1958 graduate Les Nielsen and his wife June for the naming of the lobby in the center. During his tenure as chancellor, he increased the number of majors from 26 to 34 and minors from 18 to 22, and increased online majors from 10 to 14. As a consummate champion of students and through the support of students, he was given the highest award that students bestow upon an individual at Crookston. He was given the Outstanding Service to Students in 2015. In his acceptance comments, Fred said, "There's no greater honor than an award from students. They must always be our top priority." So it's my pleasure today to recognize Dr. Fred E. Wood in naming the Welcome Center in his honor. And now I'd like to introduce the chair of the University of Minnesota Board of Regents, Doug Hibsch. Doug.
Thank you, Chancellor. I'm pleased to be here today on behalf of the Board of Regents to celebrate the dedication of the Fred E. Wood Welcome Center. As the regent from Minnesota's 7th Congressional District, I know firsthand the importance of reaching all areas of the state, and Crookston is doing a great job being the university's face in north central Minnesota. Every time I visit Crookston, I see so many ways the university has an impact on our communities. We can't fulfill our mission without the engagement and support of communities like this one. Dr. Wood was a fierce advocate for that mission, and no one understood better Crookston's commitment to serve the public good and benefit the region and beyond. Dr. Wood was also known for his focus on students and unwavering support for them as their chancellor. So it's fitting that we name the Welcome Center in his honor. His place and his people meant a lot to him. We want to thank Dr. Wood for his tremendous service and recognize his contributions with the naming of the Crookston Campus Welcome Center. Congratulations. With that, I will turn it over to Chris Ridgem, Assistant to the Chancellor.
Thank you, Regent Hips. As Regent Hips just said, my name is Chris Windham. I'm the Assistant to the Chancellor. I've been in that role for 16 years on this great campus. Chuck Casey was the one who hired me, so Chuck, I'm eternally grateful for that. I was just going to talk a little bit, so then obviously I was the assistant during Fred's time here, and Fred was a great person to work for. I have a letter I'm going to read from Leroy Stump. The reason Leroy was asked to provide a letter or to speak today is because during Fred's time here, Leroy was not only the state senator, but he was the chair of what was the name of the committee now? Bonding Committee or Capital Investment Committee, that's what the name of it was. So Senator Stump came to campus many times during those 5 years, sometimes even twice a year, sometimes solo, sometimes he came with the Capital Investment team. So Fred got to know Leroy very well, and so that's why Leroy was chosen, and Leroy really wished he could be here, but he couldn't. So I was honored to be asked, just because I was kind of in the office at the same time when those relationships were building, to read his letter. So I will read his letter, and then we'll go on to Barbara. Kind of keep in note, obviously Leroy didn't know Fred was going to have COVID, so some of the terminology is, based on that. I want to welcome Dr. Fred Wood back to the University of Minnesota Crookston campus. I'm sorry that I cannot be with you in person to greet you and to share a few words with you and others. Years go by so quickly. Dr. Wood, you served UMC as chancellor during a critical time in its history. You arrived in Crookston in July of 2012 with lots of good experience and enthusiasm to serve students and to make a difference. That same year, I became the Senate Chair of the Capital Investment Committee, also known as the Bonding Committee. With Mark Dayton as governor, all three of us in key positions, we could cause some good trouble, is what Leroy puts. Upon your invitation to visit the UMC campus, the Bonding Committee arrived to see an athletics building with an old gym and locker room. The committee members were stunned at what they saw and heard. We immediately started working on a remedy which became the University of Minnesota Crookston Wellness Center that students continue to enjoy to this day. You always had students' interests at the center of your decision making, and it is appropriate that today we honor you in naming the University of Minnesota Crookston Fred E. Wood Welcome Center, where students enter the campus community to learn and grow, benefiting from the hard work and contributions you've made to this campus community. Thank you, Dr. Wood, for all your help, your guidance, and support. You have made a big difference in student life here at UMC. You and your work will be remembered by many students and faculty in a positive way. We thank you. Sincerely, Leroy Stump, former state senator of District 1. So thank you for Senator Stump and his remarks. Just to make a note before I turn it over to you, Barbara, just former U of M President Eric Kaler was also unable to be here, but President Kaler also provided remarks, and they're printed on the back of your program, so please at some point take a moment to enjoy his celebratory remarks. Next, I'd like to ask retired Senior Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Dr. Barbara Kyneth, to the podium.
Greetings. It is great to be back on campus and get to see so many people that I spent many good years working with. And I will say, welcome. Because welcome is how Fred Wood made us feel. We were welcome, we were part of a shared community, we were important to him and to that community. Fred, you are still an important part of the community that is the University of Minnesota Crookston. We are so disappointed that you are not here in person today. I know that you are even more disappointed. I hope you feel all of the remarks, well wishes, and applause as the hugs and the hearty greetings you would have received if you were here. Speaking for myself, I was looking forward to a nice big hug. Fred had been chancellor at UMC for just 1 year when he offered me the position of vice chancellor for academic affairs, even before my one-on-one interview with Fred at the end of a very long day of interviews. Bill, I see you, with faculty, staff, students, the search committee, and everybody else, it seemed. At the end of that day, I already knew that Fred was seen as a leader on this campus, that he was somebody special. I heard only admiration and respect for him and his engagement with the campus. He was a servant leader whose interactions with all members of the campus and the community had already made significant positive impact. I was fortunate to serve as his vice chancellor for more than 3 years. Fred built community by being in the community and by being in community with us. Fred learned your name the first time he met you, and he never forgot it. It's kind of an annoying habit for the rest of us. He never forgot it. At least as importantly, as he greeted you by name, he made you feel as though he remembered you. Not just your name, but you and your connections and why you were here. It was a very special relationship that he could build in that regard. As students crossed the stage at commencement, Fred went to great effort to congratulate them by name because it mattered to them to be greeted personally at that important milestone. In between arrival and commencement, students came to know and trust Fred as chancellor. Fred created that same sense of community and belonging with faculty, staff, parents, donors, and community members. He was always glad to see you, and he always found a way to connect personally. He was present and fully engaged. So fully engaged, in fact, that at every gathering he spoke enthusiastically, and sometimes at length, about campus events and issues, covering even the topics he and I had agreed ahead of time that I would cover. I frequently wound up saying some variation of, he said it already. Fred, even though you're not here right now, I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying speaking before you this time. UMC is blessed to share the campus with Northwest Outreach and Research Center and the Regional Extension Office. As leaders of their respective communities and organizations, Fred, Albert Zims, and Deb Zach met regularly to expand and extend the sense of community across unit lines and partner to fulfill the university's land grant mission. The three entities partnered on events such as the annual Torch and Shield event, which we get to enjoy tonight, and at the end of the year academic celebration. All members of the University of Minnesota community were welcome. But Fred was aware that prospective students and their parents might not feel that way when they came for campus visits. A failure not of the people, but of the physical plant. The admissions office was difficult to find. It was a shared space. When you finally found it, it was crowded, it was low ceiling, the furniture was pretty shabby. It was not a welcoming space. It needed to be changed. And thanks to Fred's tireless, respectful, and patient approach, prime campus space occupied by Ori was eventually repurposed for the much-needed admissions office upgrade. Prospective students and their families could feel very welcome in the new space, but it is still hidden on the east side of campus. The new Fred E. Wood Welcome Center, located in Keel Hall, does it all by being in a great location, easily spotted, close by free parking, and beautiful appointments. It is an extension of Fred's vision for making prospective students, their families, and visitors feel welcome and a part of the University of Minnesota campus the minute they step on the grounds. For the Welcome Center to bear his name could not be more appropriate. Fred, thank you for your leadership and congratulations on this well-deserved honor. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Alex May Otto, who was a student while I was here, alumna now, and president of the Student Association, and someone I remember very well when she was here. So it's a pleasure, Alex May.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor Barb. I appreciate it. I am so honored to be here, to be chosen to say a few words on behalf of the students that were here at the time when Chancellor Fred Wood was here. It's honestly an honor. So, as I said, it's an honor to stand before you here and speak about the leadership that has profoundly shaped the University of Minnesota Crookston from Chancellor Wood. During his tenure, Chancellor Wood demonstrated the very best of what it meant to be a servant leader. I often heard him speak about how much he wanted to be a servant leader and show up in that way through his leadership. It was an honor to watch and witness. He believed that a welcoming community, diversity, leadership, innovation were not just words to aspire to, but values to live by. Under his leadership, every student, faculty member, staff member felt respected, heard, and valued. I think we've heard it all here today, and those words will ring over time and time again because they are honestly true. He worked tirelessly to ensure that UMC lived by the mission statement and the vision, but also that it embodied the vision and mission statement of the university system as a whole. As a student, I experienced firsthand the leadership of Chancellor Wood. As the campus' first African-American female student body president, Chancellor Wood was not just an administrator to me, but a mentor and advocate. He gave a safe space for student voices and concerns to be heard. Through diligent and open dialogue, he really made it a point to seek out student voices, student concerns, and student opinions. He listened to our concerns, aspirations, dreams, what we loved about UMC, what we wanted to see more out of UMC, and most importantly, he not just listened, he acted. He was always there with an opening ear and a smile, and to Barbara's point, a hug, for any student who was in need to share a concern, to share their dreams, to share their talents. The Wellness Center is just one example, and there are many, of how Chancellor Wood helped shape student voices and concerns into a physical building on this campus, one where students, staff, faculty, alumni can all see in its fruition today, but that people here could thrive. And his vision extended beyond student life. Chancellor Wood expanded academic programs, strengthened strategic partnerships, advanced sustainability initiatives, understood the importance of technology and innovation and brought those to the classroom. He improved campus facilities, cultivated a culture of where students could thrive, and always kept student success in every decision he made. Chancellor Wood has left an everlasting mark, not just on the physical campus, but on the lives of the students, including myself. His compassion, commitment to education, and ability to inspire pure excellence to those that knew him and were able to get to know him was amazing and astonishing to witness. For this reason, it is only fitting that we are here in honor of him to be named after the Welcome Center. Chancellor Wood always made anyone on this campus feel welcome, so I think there is no other proper name than to name that Wellness Center, our Welcome Center, after him. No one else is more deserving. Chancellor Wood's legacy is one of service, vision, and unwavering dedication, and above all else, keeping students top of mind, front and center. It is with great honor that we are all here to honor him, and I get the pleasure of introducing him as he will be next up to speak, and we get to hear from him. So thank you, Chancellor Wood. Disappointed you couldn't be here today, but I know your spirit is here with us, and we wish you could be here in person, but we are honored to be here to honor you.
Well, thank you so much. Let's see if I'm coming through. I can't tell, of course. I can see Barbara and Mary. Can you hear me okay? All right, all right. Alex May, thank you for those comments. In fact, everyone, thank you so much for the comments. It brings tears to my eyes. And for the wonderful honor today. And then also thanks to everyone for taking the time out of busy schedules to be here today. I really appreciate it. Of course, it's great to see you all virtually. It was great to see all the hugs going on. Yes, I would have been there. I've been hugging people and then leaving my COVID behind, so that would not have been good. So it's great to see you, even though it's only virtual. Um, Before I get to my prepared remarks, I just feel like I have to say a few words that how disappointed I am I can't be there because of course I wanted to be for reasons that are obvious, but then just to say hello and hug and get caught up with people was I was looking forward to that so much. But I tested for positive on Monday. And I'm sure I got it from my barber who was sneezing on me as he was cutting my hair. And so take that as a lesson to us all. I dropped my guard and look what happened. Um, but I am feeling better. I do want you to know I'm feeling better. I just feel terrible if I came and got everyone sick or got anyone sick for that matter. But Mary and I had a wonderful trip to Crookston. It was great for us to travel again. We haven't traveled since Mary's autoimmune disease back in 2001. It's a chronic illness that is treated with immunosuppressive drugs. So Mary is headed back now, unfortunately, to back to her medical care that she receives in California for a monoclonal antibody treatment to hopefully will help her get over the illness that she's almost certain to experience here in a next either few hours or a day if the physician is correct. But the reason I wanted to say a few more words, besides explaining things and why I can't be there, I'm glad to come to you live from room 128 at the AmeriView Inn next door to the campus. Um, but but I wanted to just thank folks. You need to know that when I contacted Chris on Monday and said, "You're not going to believe this," um, he just kicked it into gear. I mean, Chris Winjum is amazing, and all the folks that were involved in getting this organized to connect me with you today, it's just unbelievable. And I was mentioning this to Barbara Musing when they were all in action. I thought about Barbara always saying the small mighty campus is so adaptable, and here it is again, just doing its thing. It's so adaptable and so good with technology and making everything work, and so it's just part of the reason UMC is so special. But anyway, to my prepared remarks, I do want to again say I'm so very, very honored to be at this dedication today. I was so surprised when Chancellor Mary called me, and I immediately went to my Mary, and because she shares the honor with me in so many ways, she loved it here as well, the time that she was able to spend here. So the honor is completely unexpected, and so to find words to describe such an honor, and then to follow up these very kind words in the early part of today's dedication is difficult to me, but I'll try. As Chancellor Mary mentioned, I have been blessed to serve at a lot of different institutions, beginning in the community college sector and as a faculty member, and a variety of positions at the University of California and so forth and so on. Even as I was the second ranked administrator of the huge 23 campus California State University system at my very last appointment, just helping the chancellor there. Some of these positions dealt with dozens of academic units and campuses and tens of thousands of staff and hundreds of thousands of students. So I'm very fortunate to have the career I've had. But no place is as special and no position as important to me. And the pinnacle of my career, without a doubt, was to be chancellor here at the University of Minnesota Crookston. It's why the honor is so meaningful to me. And the reasons are, of course, many. As was mentioned earlier, one of the first reasons my mother was born in Crookston, and she loved it here. And she did have that twinkle in her eye that Chancellor Mary mentioned. She loved the people. And then during the process of interviewing and meeting people here and reading about the campus, it was so clear that the institution was important to the region and to the people. And so to come here to help the campus and the people of this region, it was just very important to me. But then, of course, I quickly found that I just loved it here as much as my mother did. The University of Minnesota is such a great and smart system. I looked at Chancellor Chuck Casey and think of his time as regents, and Regent Doug Husbach, who's here today, and they know this that it's special. The system is special because it's so valuable to and so valued by the people of the great state of Minnesota. The relationship, you see it everywhere you go. I saw it every time I met with state politicians and regional business leaders and community members. And so I was extremely fortunate to have the support of folks in the system office, including President Kaler, in helping UMC, which, as was mentioned, included dollars for the Wellness Center that Chuck helped start the process on, Chuck Casey, but then also infrastructure dollars to be sure that the campus would be here for the long run. And these were absolutely team efforts. But it was obvious even before I visited the campus, it was the quality of the people that work at UMC and live here that's really unique and special. During the interview process, I found a comfort with folks here and was aligned with their views and values. This included their kindness, their grateful nature, their honesty, their humor, and most importantly, their care and their support for students. This truly does place student first, and it's not just in the mission. You'll read that in the missions of a lot of schools, but it's true in the actions every day here. And so it's not like that everywhere. You need to know that, and I was so excited to be asked to be a part of this special place. However, you won't be surprised to learn after the speeches that you've heard that the number one reason it was so meaningful honor to me at the to be the chancellor here at the University of Minnesota Crookston was the students. I remember my first day on campus, my very first day in the summer here, when I met students who were working at a summer camp on campus and being so impressed by their energy and their ideas. And I remember vividly, they looked me right in the eyes as they spoke to me. And I thought, they feel comfortable here. This is a good thing. They feel supported. And then I remember the very first day of instruction back in 2012 when I was coming back from an event, and a group of students ran up to me, and they very respectfully said, "Chancellor, welcome. We need a place to exercise. We need a place to be active here. There's not enough room." And during these long winters, and that conversation with student was important, and it did eventually result in the construction of the Wellness Center with an enormous team of effort of students, of faculty, of staff, of community members, of politicians, and administrators, both here and at the system office. I was so repeatedly impressed by our students and by their leadership, like Alex Mayato, special person, as you just saw. If you don't know Alex May, I remember her giving a speech down at the system office. It was amazing down there one evening. Um, system, the center there. But leadership like hers in student government and in summer programs and in the residence halls, those beautiful residence halls, and in campus events of all types. I remember how the student athletes who were so committed to their sport, but also so involved in many other activities because they understood. And they understood because of the support they received that it was important to get a wider involvement in it, in their development. And I was proud of them for that. I have such fond memories of walking this campus and with visitors, the chancellors of other campuses, and the president and his staff, and hearing students say to me maybe first, "Hi, Chancellor," and me saying their name back and greeting them, and them looking at me and go, "Wow, that's amazing." And I said, "No, it's not. It's just Crookston. It's just the way we work here." And then I have the fondest memories of commencement, where you get to just, I knew just about every student's name as they came across the stage. And as has been said earlier, I enjoyed their warm embraces because I'm a hugger for sure. That's who I am. Any rate, I was so sad to leave UMC, but as many of you know, I had elder care demands, especially for my oldest sister at the time. And so it was important for me to go and do that. But I'm glad it worked out so well for the campus because as you've seen, as Mary and I were followed by Chancellor Marion Reg, who have done a fabulous job here, just fabulous job here, and continue to do such great work here at UMC. And so that's my humble effort to describe in words what this wonderful honor means to me. This is a very special place, and I get now to be a part of it in a new, wonderful way. My sincere thanks to Chancellor Mary and everyone and anyone who had a part in making this today happen, making this honor happen. And again, my thanks to everyone for being here to help celebrate. I'll be toasting with you in a few moments. That Chris brought over some champagne for me. So, and there'll be some champagne over here at the Maryview end as well. And so finally, my sincere thanks to all of you for your support during my service to the great University of Minnesota Crookston. Go Golden Eagles. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred, for those wonderful, heartfelt comments, memories, and the significant impact that you've had on so many students. As you know, and students come here sometimes quiet and shy and leave oftentimes a very different individual than they came when they were 18 years of age. So thank you for all that you have done for our students, for our region, and for our community. And now we're going to take the honor of cutting the ribbon of your Welcome Center, the Fred E. Wood Welcome Center. And for those of you who need to actually go see it, it's right inside Kiel. And we just decided instead of moving you in for that and then moving you back out, that we would just stay here and dedicate right now. So Barbara, why don't you come over here? Scissors for Barbara and for Regent Hitch. And then Alex May has the big scissors, Fred. So it is with a great honor and thanks and for your commitment, for your love for this campus, that we dedicate the Fred E. Wood Welcome Center. Please cut the ribbon, folks. Thank you. And now, if I could ask all of you, we are going to have a toast in just a few moments to Fred. So if you could make your way to the back and either grab some champagne or some sparkling water, and then we will all do a toast to Fred. And from there, then enjoy some nice refreshments and opportunities for us to speak. So please make your way to the back there, maybe we could have like some very special people, like bring a couple glasses in their hands, so not everybody needs to run back there. So please make your way to the back. So if you would please join me. Fred, it's fitting that this space be named after you. You welcomed so many people into higher education that maybe would not have had that opportunity without your assistance and your support. We celebrate your great service to the region and to the university. So it's our honor in your welcoming spirit of enthusiasm. So cheers to you, our community, campus, and the newly named Fred E. Wood Welcome Center. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.